It's awesome to have you back around, and it was something that I wanted to happen anyway. I guess I didn't necessarily foresee why the reason necessarily would be, but I think it couldn't be any better in terms of what the vision of personally for the roundtables, but also collectively as a brother and sisterhood of strength and conditioning coaches at the high school level. I think it's a phenomenal thing. So Gary, if you want to talk a little bit, this was going to be the space where we kind of give the floor to Rich. If you want to talk a little bit about the organization, for those of who that are maybe listening that aren't familiar with the organization, why and how it started, what and where the direction it's going, where we're at right now, and what to look forward to in the next few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're all incredibly excited about the growth, about the connectivity that we've had in this group. But we started the National High School Strength Coaches Association, the NHSSCA, talking about it for, Kevin, about 15 years or so, that we've kind of bandied back and forth about the voice of high school coaches and having our own voice. And we worked hard to try to grow that voice and grow our profession as we've seen it grow. And John, I know you're in the midst of it, and many of us are. And you know, we would have 2 or 3 speakers here, and we would have a half a conference there, and we would have a small group meeting here. And we thought we were so much bigger than a small group, and we thought we had a community that was stronger than maybe what some perceived to be. So the time kind of became pressing, and we decided this past summer, Kevin, Freddie, and I got together and decided the time was here. And it wasn't an anti anything else, it was a pro high school. And we decided that we wanted to march forward and try to create something that would be for us. And www.nhssca.us is specific for a reason, because this is about us. And one of our first steps was to contact Rich Gray, and we wanted to be unlike any other association. We wanted to have our association led and directed by people in the profession. Too many associations have people in leadership roles that have never been in the profession, and not, quite honestly, not even members. And we found that to be problematic, because when you're not in the profession, you rely on policies and procedures. Not the policies and procedures are bad, but they trump the person and they trump the profession, and we don't want that. So we searched and found, and what I believe to be the best executive director of any association for strength coaches, in Rich Gray. He was a former high school strength coach, started when I started. His career has moved into the business realm, so he has the best of both worlds, and has been a great addition to the leadership team as we formed. So we got together in October, and we had a big meeting in Nashville, and we met on this date here. If you can see that, we've kind of put together a little landmark in October, and we met and we put together the association in a nonprofit format. And this isn't for anyone's profit. You know, we're not making money. We don't have a salary. This is for us. Again, everything we're going to do is going to be slightly different. We're not building a building. We're not housing a gymnasium. For us, we're building it for other people. So it's entirely different. We decided for 2018 that we would, 2017, that we would have 3 events. We would have our national conference in February, and we would host 2 other regionals. We're going to host one in May and June. Those dates will be announced at our national conference. And so we got together, and one of the first things we did was we announced our board, our regional board members. We wanted to have everyone to have a voice in high school, anyone. And it's not just certified individuals, John. We've talked about this, that it's, if you're in charge of the high school strength and conditioning, this is the association for you. You're not below anyone. You're part of this community. So we started a Facebook page, and Kevin, what do we have in October? We had 250? What was it? Do you remember what it was then?
Like how many in the Facebook page?
Yeah, in October it was like 250, wasn't it?
It took us about 2 weeks to get to about 600.
Yeah, and then now it's over what, 1,500, right?
It's close to 1,600.
Close to 1,600 now. So the community has been amazing with, remember, minimal marketing. This has been organic in growth and powerful in content. And so we're super excited about the potential that we have and the connectivity that we have, because we've really only touched the outer surface of what we're doing. And so super excited, but we announced our 8 regions. We wanted to have our board members actually represent each region in the United States. And so we have 8 board members. John, you are the Southeast regional board member. So it's not just that you're a Southeast regional director, but you are an actual board member. And we have 8 of those across the country. So you'll be representative. We have actually 38 state directors now, which is really impressive. We're putting together a directory. We're starting to connect in great ways. And I only see a trajectory really, really heavy to where I believe in a short period of time, we may be the largest strength and conditioning association around, because we have the biggest numbers to pull from. So if we do things right and it stays about us and about our association, I see us really doing some great things.
Yes, sir. And selfishly, I can be a little bit selfish, but also give props to my state directors. I want to shout out Toby Jacoby, Rich Lansky, Garrett Keith, Micah Kurtz, Lincoln Thomas, and Sean Powell. That gives me the opportunity to do that because they're awesome. I know they're tuning in. At least most of them are. I'm getting text messages. So with that, guys, everybody that's listening, I see our viewer count, but the chat is a little bit more difficult. If you have my phone number, go ahead, text me. I'll make sure to get the questions out that we want to get. We do want to kind of stay on topic with the national conference and kind of stay on topic with the association. But I think if you want to talk training a little bit, I'm sure Coach Vanderbush and Gary will be more than willing to chat about that. Coach V, I want to ask you, with your very impressive and illustrious career, at what point did you see this as becoming a reality? Or 35 years it is now, Coach?
33.
33, sure? I'm pretty sure the first time we did this, I said 33, and that was over a year ago. And I think Fred Eaves is tuning in. I think Coach Eaves is going to tune in here in a second, I hope. But so, Coach, at any point, did you ever envision anything like this possibly happening 30 years ago, 25 years ago, where there?
When I first started, there were still smaller colleges that didn't have strength coaches. So, high school, in our area, there were very few that were actually full-time high school strength coaches. But, as our school was successful, the schools around us came in and said, hey, we want to do what you're doing. And, I got to a point where I looked around 5 years ago and there were 30 full-time strength coaches within a 30-mile radius of where I am. So I think, it has grown tremendously across the country. And I think, there's still pockets, because I think when one school gets one, I think others are, okay, we can do that too. And, I really think growing high school strength and conditioning, with coaches really has to come from sport coaches, ADs, some guy going into a school district where you find the right people to push the right button. Because, my AD and my superintendent aren't going to know, what it's all about unless I tell them. I mean, and there's no email that they could get or pamphlet that they could get that's going to make a huge, difference. It's got to be that somebody educates them as to the importance of it. But, even, 5-10 years ago, I couldn't imagine that we'd have what we have now, because we had tried to do it through other organizations. And, we were just kind of a small component of that. And, we knew that was limiting us in some way, but we felt like that was the direction to go, to try to push through there rather than start something on our own. But as we've gone to that, we realized that now we're able to take care of all those things that we said before we couldn't have. We didn't like the fact that a high school coach who doesn't make much had to spend $1,500 to go to a conference, to see 2 or 3 high school speakers. So, now we have the opportunity for a high school coach to pay $75, for registration, get like 3 meals and a social paid for, and get 8 speakers. So much different than what was allowed before. And so the only cost is really transportation and hotel. And we're not staying in the resort type places, because we feel like the high school coach wants to come in and hear about strength and conditioning at the high school level and network. And if they wanted to go to gambling or on road shows or whatever it is, this isn't the type of vacation to take. I mean, this is us educating each other, networking with each other, and growing as a profession. So I really love the direction we've gone, and I like the fact that we're doing this, for coaches, and I think it's exactly what coaches need. It's like Gary said, we've been talking about this forever, and we're just excited about the fact that there's a number of people out there that have shown us that they're just as excited as we are, because the growth has been, unbelievable.
Awesome. Coach, you started talking a little bit about the conference. Can you talk a little bit about the pre-con and what you have planned? Maybe don't let us too far in, but let us know about what you're excited about.
As soon as Gary told me I've got 6 hours one day and another hour the next, it's like, okay, finally. It's like I go to enough of these conferences where they give me 50 minutes and I'm trying to go over 33 years in 50 minutes and it just doesn't work. I've had way too much, text in all my presentations prior, because I figure they can take home what I can't say. But I'm excited about it because it'll give me an opportunity to go in more depth than I've ever been before. My plan is that, I'm gonna explain why I do what I do. Not with the idea that it's the only way to do things, but just to give an understanding of what a rationale behind certain things are and how, I sell it to my parents, sell it to my athletes and so forth. But we're going to go into what I do in the weight room, what I do in my advanced weight training class. We're going to head to a gym where I'll spend a couple hours there, where we're going to go over what we do athletic enhancement wise in our class. Also, the additional athletic enhancement activities that we do with different sports as a part of their preseason conditioning, or other times that I work with them. And hopefully the people that are coming to the pre-con, dressed and ready to participate, because I'll need people out there so we can demonstrate what's going on. I can give coaching cues. I can, show and explain, how I work with my athletes. And I'm really looking forward to that part in particular, because I think, a couple hours in a gym is just going to be so valuable to everybody that's there. I like the idea of people being able to ask questions, get into discussions in the middle of it, because we aren't so pressed for time. So in addition to, what I do there, I'll explain how I, incorporate that into, our football program. And then, I also hope to talk about some of the issues that people want to know, how to get into high school strength and conditioning, why it's better than in a college position, things like that I feel like are issues within our industry. And I hope to have some time left for questions and answers at the end. But, we were talking early before we came on, and we'd like to, propose that the first 5 people that contact Gary, anybody that's not signed up for the pre-con, we'll open up 5 more slots, because we've been getting people asking along the way. So I'm going to give his email address here, but the first 5 that contact him can slide into that pre-con if they're still interested.
Yeah, if you send an email to Gary.Schofield, that's SCHOFIELD @NHSSCA.us. So Gary.Schofield @NHSSCA.us. Coach Vanderbush has been kind enough to add 5 more spots in. We've had that was an immediate sellout, so we've had a lot of people reach out. It will be a huge benefit. So if they contact me, first 5 via the email, you'll be up. I will let you know, and we'll get you in there. It'll be a little flash sale. It's $50 for the pre-conference. So a little additional cost, but well worth it when you consider the amount of time and what you're going to get out of it.
And Gary, along those lines, can you tell me a couple things? Number one, what's going to make this conference different than the others? Just to elaborate a little bit more from what we were talking about earlier. And also, could you talk a little bit about the venue? Because your place is going to be hosting it. So
yeah, it is. Yeah, we're excited
about it. And I want to hear personally where we're going to be and where we're going to be setting up shop. But I'm sure others will like that as well.
So to answer your first question, what makes this different? Everything. That'd be the quick answer. It is not going to be like anything that you've done before. And we were joking about it may not be like anything we've ever done after, because it's going to be the first, right? And there'll never be a first again. So we really targeted all our conferences to be very hands-on-ish, to be very practical, and to be, scientific based, but very practical, to where you're going to come away with things. And everyone likes to say that, but we really want to do some things that are different. So right off the bat, we have a pre-conference. I can't tell you how many times I was told I can't do that. Can't allow to do that. Can't do that. And that one-on-one contact is amazing. So it is velvet roped. It is smaller sessions. It isn't, it's designed to be a little smaller group so you can get that one-on-one connection. And so we have a pre-conference. And actually, one of our sponsors, Vertimax, has come on, and they are actually purchasing lunch for everyone at the pre-conference. It was going to be lunch on your own. You have an extra lunch now, which we think has been fantastic. So that will be taken care of for you. So you get a full day with Coach Vanderbush and a lunch. And then that gets done around 3 o'clock. And that will be at the NAIC at our gym, at our weight room. We have some indoor turf. And we have a large weight room that will be able to do a lot of demos hands-on and be able to do the speaking part. And then Coach Vanderbush will go down to one of our gyms and do his athletic enhancement, which is right down the hill, and come back up and finish strong. When we get done with the pre-conference, we'll head up to the stadium. And that's when everybody else will be coming and arriving, parking in our stadium. And the minute you walk into our stadium, you'll head towards the field house. And on the large Jumbotron will be a video and a big welcoming board, welcome you to the event. That's going to be kind of a unique environment. And we'll head into the field house, and the field house will have dinner for you. So a pretty neat little thing. Now, we're coaches. It's not going to be a sit-down filet mignon dinner. It's going to be what we eat. It's going to be hand foods, probably be a pizza and some drinks, stuff like that. But really what we're doing is we're having a 2-hour time period there, 3 to about 5:15, where we can network, we can eat, we can drink some water, and we can walk around the vendor areas and sponsors who have been just phenomenal to us, and really have a great kind of opening moment of connection, because this is going to be about connection as much as content. That's probably the big key to what's going to be different about our event, is that there's going to be as much connecting points as there are contact points. And I've been to too many conferences that were great in content, but really I wish there was more connection. We always talk about how much we learn in the hallways, right? Well, this is going to be one of those moments where the hallway and the learning come together. So we're going to have those things, and then we'll actually coaches love to see facilities. I love to see facilities. I know Coach Garish, you went up and toured a few facilities around me, and coaches, we all love to do that. So rather than go to a hotel or a conference center, I don't want to see their facilities. We're actually on the way. We're gonna be at a vendor area in our field house, but then we're gonna go down to our theater, which is a beautiful 405-seat theater. And on the way there, we'll go through our arena. You'll see the swimming aquatic center. You'll see some of the things that make our campus. And I think that's kind of a neat little touch as we go down there. So there'll be some of those points as we go throughout the day. Then we go down to 2 speaking engagements. Toby Jacoby and myself will be presenting on Friday night. And then after that, we go about 3 miles away to Dave & Buster's. We've rented a very large room, and we have some drinks and food, and it's from 8 o'clock. We'll start that at 8 o'clock, and we have it from 8 to 10, but I've been told we have that room a little later. So we'll be able to, that's a huge connecting point, right? Now with that, I'm always wanting to exceed expectations, Coach Garish. So we have 3 amazing nationally and internationally known speakers and authors going to be joining us for a little surprise visit. And so a little teaser there, and there'll be a little quick Q&A going on while we're doing all that connecting. And there'll be a little point where we have some people that really impact our profession, but maybe not directly in it, but can directly impact it. And I think it's a great connection point. So I'm really super excited about that. I can't wait to kind of open that and reveal that a little bit. And then we could come back Saturday, and we have 6 speakers plus a special guest speaker for a 7th one. Again, we have breakfast and lunch provided for you. And then on top of all of that, so you got 9 speakers, a special Q&A, breakfast, lunch, dinner, a dinner for a pre-con, and a coach's social, all of that. But on top of all of that, it really is about us. And rather than trying to build something for us, for our association is the coaches. That's why we have that .us. So we are going to be giving away, and you've seen the teases out there, half racks, full racks, bumper plate sets, competition barbells, sleds, Prowler sleds, glue ham rollers from Sorinex, unbelievable giveaways that we'll have as a special raffle. So everyone that was registered by February 3rd has been put into a list, and we'll be pulling those names, and there will be people getting amazing, after every speaker will be giving away something. And then of course we have the traditional giveaways too, by the way. So there's t-shirts and string bags and all kinds of things that we'll be doing too to kind of connect people. So it will be an experience. It's not just going to be a conference. It will be an absolute experience. Something that I do believe, and I've said it all along, 10 years from now, we'll all be talking about, hey, were you at that event? With a big poster that every attendee will sign. We're gonna keep that because we think that that'll be pretty cool event. So we're super excited about it. That's just kind of a quick overview. The venue, I hopefully gave you a little bit about the venue. You'll see more of that though as you get there, so you'll get a good tour of the campus in those 2 days while you're there.
Absolutely, that's awesome. And Coach, again, I don't mean to, but I also at the same time I love to plug our region. There's gonna be multiple opportunities for us all to get together in Region 1, and that's the Southeast region. I'm certainly hoping for a big turnout, number one, because we're hosting the thing. It's in our region. But also just because of all the feedback I've heard from the coaches locally and really nationally, but in our region especially, there's been some fired up coaches, including those state directors that I named, that I think it's just going to be an awesome opportunity. So if you are in Region 1 and maybe some of us don't know you yet and you don't know the state director yet, number one, let's connect before the conference, and that's going to be something that I ask you, both of you guys next. But when we're at the conference, let's seek out each other's names and make sure that we know each other so that it doesn't happen again, that we're no longer strangers. Coach Vanderbush, you're a person, certainly I learned early on in connecting with you that you're a person that loves to share information. And I think that can be heard through this and heard through your excitement for the pre-con. What do you suggest some things that coaches can do leading up to the conference in preparation for it? Not necessarily us presenters, but maybe some other coaches that don't know what to expect necessarily. And sure, maybe the ones that are on the fence, but also those that have registered, and what they can do to make sure that they get the absolute most out of the event. Sorry, out of the national conference.
Well, I think it's important that people come into clinics with the idea that, what can I use in my situation? What do I like doing, and how does it, how can I tweak that? I think even I've noticed that when I go to something, even if I'm hearing something that's totally different from what I could possibly use, I'm thinking strength and conditioning. So when I'm thinking strength and conditioning, I've come up with ideas just because there's something tangent that I took off of what some guy said that allowed me to come up with some ideas that I can use. So, I think you've got to come with the idea that, there's no time that's not valuable. Even if you're hearing, a speaker that may be talking in a different direction from, what you're doing, if you're thinking the right way, you're going to come up with ideas that, will make a change in what you do. But I also think it's important that you realize that, I've been in clinics before where I've spoken and, there's sometimes a bunch of people come up and start talking to you and asking you questions, but there's other times, I don't know if it's I've got an intimidating face or look or the way I carry myself, but then people don't feel comfortable coming up and saying, hey, how would you do this? Or, introducing themselves. I really hope that this is like what we're trying to get with our athletic teams, to where everybody feels like I want to learn everybody's name. Go in with the idea that when you see somebody, go up and introduce yourself, explain what you're doing, to where you can figure out how many different people you can get to know in that short period of time that we've got from, if you're coming early Friday morning through Saturday night. It can't be that you're a wallflower. It can't be that you're sitting in the back. It's got to be that you put yourself out there and are shaking hands and introducing yourself and passing cards and making connections. Because if you're not doing that, you're missing out on one of the most valuable pieces of what we're doing. It's not just about the speakers. Like Gary said, there's so much that's learned in a hallway at a conference. And, during the meals, get up and move around, talk to people, introduce yourself. All those kind of things I think are important that some people miss out on because, they think a conference is just strictly, going and listening to some speakers and kind of taking back what they say. But it's way more than that. And I think the people coming in need to make sure that they look at it from that standpoint.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. Coach Schofield, you got any advice on that matter in leading up to the conference? Well, I don't know why that's such a struggle to say today. Conference seems like a tough word for me to get out. If you hear my phone,
before you guys do that,
crazy.
I want an
Sorry,
explanation from. I want an explanation from Gary. You know, when we're talking about region 1, I want him to explain how in the bottom right of our United States that became region 1. You know, everybody's left to right, you know, top to bottom. But how is it that the bottom right becomes 1 and we go in this little circle that we explain that for us? Will you, Gary?
Sure, it's real easy. That's where I live, so that becomes number 1. And it just moved around. Really nothing more than that.
Some of you people that can't figure out our numbering system.
Not really complicated. It was like, all right, I live there. That's 1, and we just moved down the line. Not that that's more important. I know we should always start with where the world started, and that's got to be where Kevin is because he's the world's oldest strength coach. But I would echo what Kevin said. Is coming here. This community, go on our Facebook for 5 minutes, scroll through, and tell me that's not an unbelievable community. Tell me people aren't positive. Tell me people aren't engaging. Tell me people don't question in the right ways. I mean, it's too easy for right now. You know, Kevin and I grew up, and Freddie grew up in an era where technology wasn't so available and information wasn't so available. So we actually had to go out and meet people. That's how we had to learn. Because if it was just books, it was going to be 5 to 10 years old. So we grew up in a different entity. Now, information is available. I get it on my phone. I get it wherever I want. So sometimes the connection isn't there. I can get great content, and I keep going back to that. But I don't have this ability to connect. And I'm telling you right now, true learning, right? And, you know, the difference between knowledge and wisdom is experience. So if I really want to go and I want to expand my knowledge and get more wisdom, then I have to have some experiential learning going on. And that involves connecting to individuals. And it doesn't come natural to some, and that's fine. I tell people all the time, I was a big introvert. No one believes that now, except people that were. But I worked hard to not be that way because the amount of growth that you have when you connect. Don't be the guy sitting and doing what I did for the first 5 conferences I went to. And I sat and wrote great notes, and I learned a lot of information. But then I never made any connections. I just went back to my hotel room and did whatever I did. So this is a community that will embrace you, introduce yourselves. That's why we created the conference in the way in which we did, with a lot of these sessions and a lot of these times to be connecting. So I'm hoping regions like yourself, John, do get together. I'm hoping we have opportunities at Dave & Buster's or during that dinner that first night. We have all of these little rooms that are going to be available off to the side that regions can get together. People that want to have a little sub meeting, they can do that without disrupting the learning or environment that's going on, but having these little connections. So I would be prepared for that, prepared to learn. I think 7 of those speakers are world class. I won't take myself out of that, but 7 of them are unreal. I mean, I don't think you're going to find another conference. I don't care whether you're a college coach, pro coach, or high school coach. I'm not sure there's another conference with the quality of speakers that we're presenting. I mean, this is world class. And when you look at the topics, like, they cover almost the gambit of what we're doing. It's really impressive, I think, how it came together and the people that are doing it. So I'm incredibly humbled to be part of that.
Same here, Coach. I really appreciate you guys having me presenting there. It's going to be a great honor. I've never been as excited for a speaking opportunity. Number one, because I think the material is something I'm very passionate about. I'll be talking about some medicine ball training, and I'm more so just object propulsion and power production and using things that we can throw as a hammer thrower or former hammer thrower, if there's such a thing. Myself, I like to throw stuff as far as we can and as high as we can and use objects to do that. It's going to be really awesome. I'm very excited to talk about the material, but also through what has been so great that I've seen from this organization is how close we've connected in the last just few months. And sure, that might have happened to a certain extent, regardless, just based on our trajectory. The 4 guys, 3 of which you can hear right now, and Fred's there hiding. But Rich as well, and all of our regional board members and all of our state directors, I think we've just become so close knit. But at the same time, we're all so close knit. It's not just the guys at the top are kind of, friendly, and then everybody else is there somewhere in the mix. I feel like we're all such a tight-knit community, so being able to connect with everybody, and also being able to be a part of the first one, just like you said, it's going to be special, and it's never going to be matched because it's the first one. So I want to thank you, and really Coach Vanderbush, Coach Schofield, and Coach Eaves, and Rich as well, who's not with us right now. But I want to say thank you to you guys. Hopefully Rich is listening. I feel like I'm what's that?
I said, yeah, he is. He's struggling in that snowstorm up there, so I'll rub in my 70-degree weather to him.
Yeah.
But
I could rub in the 82.
That's right.
But yeah, I just wanted to say, I wanted to take the opportunity to say thank you to you guys, and for allowing me to be a part of it, but also for being willing to step out, whether it's of your comfort zone or whether it's maybe out into the limelight or spotlight to do something that you knew was so important to all of us as high school coaches. That quite frankly, if I was in your position, I don't know if I would have the nerve or the strength to do it. So it was very impressive, and I know we're going to reap the benefits for a very, very long time. So thank you guys for that. Before we close out, and we got started a little bit late, but I still want to be able to let you guys go to your families. Talk a couple of the questions I've been getting, both tonight and earlier, have been in response to like signing up either membership wise or conference wise, not receiving receipts, or just unsure if everything's gone through, making sure that the coaches have taken the appropriate steps to sign up for whichever it might have been. So is there something that maybe we ought to know, or some process that we ought to go through to make sure that that does happen?
Sure. I'll start. Kevin, you can kind of anything that I missed there, maybe fill in. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
So first of all, our website is www.nhssca.us. We do have a Facebook page, but when it comes to membership in our events, that's the place to go. So we had anticipated great growth. We never anticipated the growth we had. I mean, that's a great problem to have, right? Any association would love that problem. So with any growth and any startup, there's always going to be small hiccups, and we work hard. We're coaches. We're all full-time coaches that work hard all day long. So any issue we try to get to as soon as we possibly can. I think we've been really good with that. We've had some issues with receipts and so forth. The best email is info@nhsssca.us. If that doesn't work and you don't get a response, please feel free, Gary.Schofield, Schofield, @nhsssca.us. Both of those emails will get you a response. I work hard to try to connect because it's important to me that we take care of the needs. So if you had questions, we've sent out emails to everyone that has registered for the national conference, not this week, but before then. This week, those will be going out tomorrow. But we've sent out confirmation emails. If you need a receipt, just simply email us, and we'll be glad to take care of that. I did a couple of those today. It's not a problem. We can take care of you. Same thing with memberships. We have grown at such a great rate that we have brought on an administration company that's going to be handling our T-shirts and certificates and taking care of that. So I have seen them. They are printed. The T-shirts look phenomenal, especially the original members one. I think that's going to be a unique collector's item down the line. Certificates and all that. We got to get through the national conference. Obviously, this was a big event to be able to pull off. So that got delayed a little bit with the new administration company and trying to get through national conference. But within a short period of time, that will be out. We'll have a heads up announcement soon, and also a newsletter going out. So we have some big pieces coming. We have a resource page coming to our website that we'll be adding. Again, just trying to get through the early stages and get this national conference going. But that's kind of where we're at. So if you have any questions, those two emails. Kevin, anything I kind of missed on that general business?
No, I mean, I know that, it would be great if we could have had the T-shirts and membership certificates out right away. I mean, that was our goal. But, with the number that we had and just getting things going as quickly as we've had to do this, it's something that's a little bit delayed. And, we apologize for that. But we felt like the most important thing to focus on right now was to get that conference ready to go, so that people are going to have a great experience with that, and that the T-shirts and the membership certificates will come much longer, but with huge growth. And we sat down in October and we projected numbers, and we were hoping for certain things, and we've just blown that out of the park. And I think a lot of that has to do with we've got the right people doing the right things. Rich has done an awesome job with sponsorship. He's found a lot of people that want to support our organization. And, I hate saying this with Gary here, but he's done an unbelievable job with marketing and just exposure and, all the things that he's put on the Facebook, group page to kind of keep the excitement and get people going towards this, and, all the work he's done for this conference. I mean, he definitely is the right guy to have the first conference. There's a lot of things that he does that nobody else does, and he's doing it in a way that could not be done, at any other venue with any other person in charge. So I think we're fortunate that, we're doing it right on the first one.
Thank you, brother. And we will have an online store coming up. That's one of the things Kevin and I have chatted with, and I can officially announce on here that we have signed a deal with Under Armour. They will be an official sponsor, and we will have an online store with them. I just confirmed it with Rich that I can announce that. But it's a unique deal that we had signed with them. So it's going to provide great value in attire and shoes to our association members. So we will have an online store with some Under Armour gear. We are putting final touches to that. So I know a lot of people have reached out wanting to wear it, wanting to represent it. In fact, John, was it you that had the wristband?
Oh yeah.
And it went crazy. Everyone wanted to know where am I going to get one of those? Which, by the way, you can get those at the national conference, but we will have some additional stuff. So we are super excited about that. That's a huge announcement to us. We'll have an official announcement going out on social media pretty soon, maybe even as early as tomorrow. But I wanted to kind of break that right now. So that'll be a great piece. So those are the things that are going behind the scenes that we're trying to get together so that we can bring great value to the membership. And it's only going to get bigger from here. We have an amazing group of sponsors that are growing by the day, of people that are motivated, not by profits, but by our mission. And I can honestly say that. They are really motivated when they realize that it's about giving to other people, and we're not trying to just take stuff. They have been unreal. So they've embodied the educate, equip, and empower. I hoped, but I never anticipated how quickly they would. So it's been a great addition.
Awesome. Well, coaches, I want to say again, thank you. I think I said enough thank yous for what you've done from an organizational standpoint and also from a profession standpoint. But I want to thank you for taking an hour out of your night, a little bit more than that once we got it all figured out and all was said and done. I want to thank you for that and being willing to not only do this once, but now twice with the three men that are on the screen. I really appreciate everything you do, and I appreciate you coming back on here and being willing to share. And I think this is going to be something that's really important for us moving forward. And for those of you that are still with us, and we have just about everybody, if you don't know how to get in touch with one of us, you're watching this from my YouTube page. So you can go ahead to my YouTube page, and I think you can send me a message through YouTube where you can at least see our name on here. Find us on Facebook. It's pretty easy. Find the NHSSCA Facebook page, and that'll get you connected with everybody. But then you can go to us as individuals, and especially the three coaches that have been on here, even though we haven't heard from Fred Eaves. But the coaches that we've heard.
Oh, there he is.
If you're listening to this and you're on and you're not watching from YouTube, Fred is there on screen with us, but he's just having some mic issues. So, coaches, I want to say again, thank you for everything that you've done, and especially tonight for coming on.
Thank you, brother.
You got it.
Yeah, John, thanks for putting this on.
Hey, of course. So I'm going to close this out, and we still can stay on board a little bit. I don't know if the viewers are going to be able to still see that, but we can chat a little bit more. And just like I said, get in touch with us. And thank you everybody for watching, and thanks, coaches, for coming on.